Hello and welcome into the Thursday, April 28th edition of the Bottom Line Lexington podcast. Locally, John Clay of the Herald Leader wrote an article today saying, and the headline is, I want to get this right here, Louisville football is, and here's where I have a problem with it, quote unquote, getting better, end quote, than Kentucky. What is this getting better stuff? They've been better for a long time. Just this decade alone, Louisville has 54 wins. Kentucky has 25. Louisville has 4 bowl wins. Kentucky has 0. And Louisville's won the last 5 years head-to-head. What makes you think that this is just some recent occurrence that Louisville is finally getting better than Kentucky is? It's been this way for a very long time. Bottom line here, what are you doing, John Clay? Louisville has been better for a long time than Kentucky. It isn't something new. This getting better stuff, they're already better. And by the way, Kentucky has no chance of beating Louisville this year. Why? Louisville has a better coach, they have the better quarterback, they have the home field. Louisville wins that game by double digits. Sorry, Big Blue Nation. Lexington's still abuzz over the Matthew Mitchell soap opera from yesterday. This is the first time I've talked about women's basketball 2 days in a row than I can remember, to be honest with you. I listened to his interviews yesterday. I listened to his little press conference, and all I've heard today now, here on Thursday, is everybody saying, oh, he deserves credit for facing the press. You got to give, he's a stand-up guy. He's getting up in front of people and answering questions. First of all, he's not answering any questions at all. He did not say one word about exactly why these people are leaving. That's what people want to know. Why are they leaving? Why are they gone? I still don't have an answer. But the media in this town giving Matthew Mitchell credit just for having a press conference yesterday? Do you not think that somebody demanded that he have a press conference? I do. You think he said, I think I'll have a press conference today just to answer some questions for the media? Of course not. He was told to have the press conferences and call the radio shows. Why? He's got to stop all these rumors because he's losing players and losing coaches. Where are these coaches going? They're not taking better jobs when they leave here. Where are these players going? They're not going to better situations when they leave here. I'm more appalled that the media around here giving Mitchell credit just for having a press conference yesterday. He still didn't say anything. He still didn't answer any questions. Bottom line, just like I said yesterday, Matthew Mitchell's a desperate man trying to cover his butt, and he's got a lot to hide. To give him credit for facing the music in a press conference yesterday, a press conference in which he had no answers, that's something I will never be able to explain in this town. Ed Davender had a heart attack, a massive heart attack yesterday. He's on life support. May God truly bless him. May God truly bless his family. I wish him all the best personally. I never met the guy. I don't know him. But I don't wish ill will health-wise upon anybody ever. That's between the person and the big man upstairs when you're talking about health. But I've heard a lot of people talk about Ed Davender and what a great player he was, and that's true. He was a great player. But I'm going to tell you like it is. He's 11th all-time in scoring, took a lot of shots while he was here, shot 44% when he was at Kentucky. That was before three-pointers. So, yeah, 44%, not really that good. And by the way, the teams that he played on full-time the last 3 years he was here at Kentucky, all 3 of those teams lost in the NCAA tournament to teams that they were supposed to beat based on seeds. And oh yeah, he spent time in jail for ripping off people for over $70,000 in a ticket scam. I'm not putting the guy down, I'm just stating facts. So don't shoot the messenger here. Having said that, God bless you, Ed Davender. Hope you make it through, bro. Reds last night lose again to the Mets. That was 3 in a row. Series is over. The Reds now only 7 games behind the Cubs in the National League Central. Only 7 games by the end of April. There's 6 months in the year. 6 times 7. The Reds are on pace to finish about 42 games out. Congratulations, Cincinnati. This team's not going to win 70 games. We know this. Now they go to Pittsburgh for 3 more. And if they win 2 out of 3 there, I'll be shocked. Brandon Phillips comes back Friday. Jay Bruce comes back Friday from maternity leave. By the way, when did it become fashionable to go away on maternity leave for like 3 or 4 games? I'm just asking. Just stating facts. Jon Moscot got the loss last night. Jon Moscot must be used to this because I saw where he was actually in the movie Benchwarmers with Rob Schneider. and the guy who played Napoleon Dynamite and David Spade. Do you remember that movie where they were playing Little League, 3 grown men playing Little League teams? Apparently Jon Moscot was one of the pitchers who was giving up home run balls to Rob Schneider. Hey, he'll always have that at least. Zach Cozart, another home run last night, 394 average. Still waiting for that regression to the mean. If you're in a fantasy league, you've got to dump Zach Cozart now, because that slump is coming. I will promise you. Over 2,000 at-bats and under a 250 average, it's just a matter of time. Devin Mesoraco, another offer last night. Just saying, Tucker Barnhart, why isn't he playing more? NFL draft tonight. Oh, goody. The Bengals coming around. The Bengals will be looking for a wide receiver. They're going to try to replace Marvin Jones and Mohamed Sanu to go opposite A.J. Green. The NFL draft, I used to enjoy this when I was a kid, when it was on. I think they used to start it when I was really young. It was on like a Tuesday morning. And like, you had to, if you wanted to watch it, you had to skip school. I was, a kid. And I just remember ESPN showing it on Tuesday morning. Then they moved it to like Sunday mornings, and then it went to Saturdays. Now it's on Thursday night. It's amazing how this thing has taken off. And of course, Mel Kiper, draft expert. Anybody trying to get into the media business should look at Mel Kiper's example and take some solace, because if you know how this guy came from literally nothing, and he lived in Baltimore, and he would always go harass the Colts. Can I have a job? Can I do this? Can I do that? And they always would be like, no, go away, son. And then all of a sudden, he comes out with draft stuff, draft books. Now he's been on TV for 30 plus years. God bless him. Never knock a man's hustle. But today is draft night, so get ready for every cliche known to mankind. Oh, and by the way, there will be a Peyton Manning, I think it's called a Dear Peyton. All these people writing Peyton Manning handwritten letters. Just more Peyton Manning spin bullcrap. He is easily my most hated person in sports, but nobody sees him for the fake that he is. It amazes me how he's got off scot-free between the stuff that went on in Tennessee, every little thing that he's done in the NFL, which was all about spinning things to make him look good. It's unbelievable. The spin and the public relations that Peyton Manning's done, that he's gotten away with, it's amazing. I will never understand how the public has fallen for all the crap that Peyton Manning has done. By the way, there was a lot that went on at Tennessee that it just now came out 20 years later. He's still going to get away with it. Oh, and by the way, I'd like to see his wife right now from taking all those PEDs that she had shipped in her name that I'm sure her husband was never touching. Those are facts, ladies and gentlemen. Look them up. The only real reason to watch a draft these days is to watch that one kid in the draft room who thinks he's going to go in the top 5 or the top 10 and watch him fall all the way out of the first round. Aaron Rodgers did that one year. The guy this year that it might happen to is a guy named Miles Jack. So if you're looking for a guy with a lot of drama and a lot of cameras on him as he doesn't get picked, that's the guy. Because apparently he has some kind of arthritic knee injury that's going to get worse as time goes on no matter what. And he's falling down draft boards. So teams might be scared. He might not go. He was supposed to go in the top 5 a month ago. Now he may not go in the top 20. That's the guy, Miles Jack, if you're looking for some drama tonight to watch for. And while we're on football, Denver Broncos, who apparently today went after Sam Bradford, and then the Eagles said, we're not going to give you Sam Bradford. So they have Mark Sanchez and nothing. So what do the fans in Denver want? Of course. They want Tim Tebow back. They've already started a petition. By the way, John Elway, if you remember Tim Tebow's season back in 2011, it was truly amazing. John Elway, every time Tim Tebow would pull off this incredible, miraculous win through nothing but prayer and gifts from God, Elway would just look around, I can't bleep and believe this. And the more games he won, the harder he knew it was going to be to get rid of Tebow. I will go to my grave saying the only reason he went out and got Peyton Manning is because he knew that was the only way he could dump Tim Tebow and still not be killed by the social media. And that's what happened. So he overpaid for Peyton Manning. Well, not in retrospect, but he overpaid at the time because we didn't know Peyton Manning could even throw a football, much less play 4 more years. But that's the only way he could have gotten away with dumping Tebow because of how popular he was. And he actually won a playoff game for them the previous year. It's still the most amazing thing that A, Tim Tebow had the run that he had with Denver, and B, he never got another chance again. That whole situation, that will never cease to amaze me, how Tim Tebow was so good for a period of time and never got another chance, ever. But anyway, the fans in Denver want him back, and they're already signing a petition. That ain't happening. Sorry. Major League Baseball, even more people now coming out against Jake Arrieta, claiming that he is on PEDs now. We said yesterday, and I will stand by this, the only thing he's going to test positive for is the Just for Men beard coloring stuff. But the numbers say that he's been amazing the last 13 months, when before that, he was just an average pitcher. Apparently, Jake Arrieta had to stick it to Stephen A. Smith, because Stephen A. Smith even thinks he's cheating. Jake Arrieta goes back to the mound tonight. Let's see what he's got now that the people are actually giving him a hard time over how good he's been. More baseball. Tyler Collins, we talked about him a few days ago. He flipped off the fans on Monday night after he dropped a pop-up in the lights and the fans booed him. Then he flips everybody off. By the way, he was sent to the minor leagues yesterday. I'm sure that was only a coincidence, right? Curt Schilling, recently fired from ESPN, today said that ESPN has some of the biggest racists in all of sports. Way to stay classy going out the door, Curt. Any chance you had of ever getting another job probably left with that little comment. By the way, ESPN got Raul Ibanez to replace Curt Schilling. If you watched the playoffs last year, go on YouTube and find where Pete Rose kept making Raul Ibanez laugh. It's really funny. Pete Rose is so stupid on the air, and Raul Ibanez is trying to be so serious, and Pete just kept making him laugh. It was really good. Go on YouTube and find that. Search Raul Ibanez, Pete Rose, Fox. Adam LaRoche, you may remember him from the Chicago White Sox. He came out, well, actually, before the season started, LaRoche retired from baseball, and he was due to make about $14 million this year, but he retired because the players and the front office did not like the fact that he was homeschooling his son, and his son was always in the clubhouse for the White Sox. So he retired, took his bat, and went home. A lot of controversy came from that, but last night, Adam LaRoche goes on Twitter and says, don't forget, tomorrow is Take Your Kid to Work Day. You don't think he's a little bit bitter? You don't think he's missing that $14 million right now? A lot of these players who retire early, especially, they get home and they're like, is this it? Is this how it's going to be the rest of my life? And they're itching to get back. Something tells me LaRoche may try to get back in baseball eventually. If not this year, maybe next. But he's still bitter, and it's obvious. And he gets more bitter with every game the White Sox win because they have the best record in the American League right now. Way to go, LaRoche. NBA last night, Warriors win. They will advance to play probably Portland, who beat the Clippers last night to go up 3-2, headed back to Portland. Yeah, it's done for the Clippers. Doc Rivers is crying. That team is done. They've quit. They literally have quit. Hornets go up 3-2 on Miami. They're going back to Charlotte. Looks like they're going to take down the Heat. Courtney Lee hit the game-winning shot, who was from Western Kentucky. After the game, he gave credit to Bible study and a massage. Lakers are going to interview Luke Walton for their coaching job. I thought Calipari was getting that coaching job. No? All right. We'll see. College basketball, this whole bathroom gender thing down in North Carolina. Now it's reaching the NCAA. They're going to take tournament games next year out of North Carolina if they don't get this fixed soon, which means those first 2-round games that usually North Carolina or Duke get in Charlotte or somewhere in North Carolina, Greensboro, that are basically home games, will go somewhere else, thereby taking away a huge advantage away from North Carolina and Duke. By the way, why don't you put those first-round games in Lexington and have Duke and North Carolina have to play here in the first 2 rounds? Now you're talking about a home court advantage. I still go back, it was 2002 when Duke played Indiana here in Lexington. Gosh, that's 14 years ago. That's amazing. You can go on YouTube and watch that game, Duke and Indiana, 2002, the year Indiana made the final game. There were 23,000 people in that arena, Rupp Arena, all of them rooting against Duke. It was incredible. Coach K came out after the game saying, we had an unfair advantage because we had to play in Lexington. They don't like us here, and they're close to Indiana. No. It's not because you're close to Indiana here. People here hate Indiana too. It's just they really hate you, Coach. Not coincidentally, I haven't seen Coach K in Lexington, Kentucky since that day. Have you? Amazing how that works out. LSU's Antonio Blakeney says he's going back to school, but the NBA has him on their list of players turning pro. Only a great coach like Johnny Jones, who, by the way, if you don't fire Johnny Jones after what happened last year, you're never going to fire that guy. That was a train wreck, and he's still there. Anyway, only LSU can screw something like this up. I'll be interested to see if Blakeney gets to stay in college or not, because if he has to go pro due to a technicality, that's just another strike against Johnny Jones right there. Some other things that caught my eye. There's a high school player who was suspended. His high school team got suspended. And it's because, well, he's not high school age. He's 29 years old. But he came out today and said, I quote unquote, did not realize, end quote, that I was 29 years old. Really? That's the best excuse you've got? I didn't realize I was 29 years old? I haven't heard that one. That's one I haven't heard right there. If you can get away with that, you can get away with anything. Bob Knight campaigned for Donald Trump last night, introduced him. It was everything you thought it would be and more. I don't think even a Bob Knight rampage could ruin Donald Trump's road to the Republican nomination at this point. So why not placate to some of the Indiana people? UConn women's coach Gino Auriemma. Boy, we're talking a lot of women's basketball. I will never talk about this much again. This week, I've talked more women's basketball than I will probably in the next 51 weeks. Gino Auriemma out of the hospital, will coach the Olympic team this summer. I think my thing is, do you ever see Gino Auriemma in a band? You ever see Gino Auriemma at a football game performing with his band while people are tailgating? I never saw Gino Auriemma do that. I never saw Pat Summitt do that. I see Matthew Mitchell do it pretty much every game. Just saying. Ted Cruz said he gambled, using that term loosely, on the Villanova, North Carolina final game. But he didn't say what team he gambled on. Wow, that's putting a line in the sand for you. No wonder this guy's going to lose bad. Sure, he bet on the game. I am positive. He was calling Las Vegas and had bookies on it. I'm positive about that. Nevada sports books allegedly made over $21 million in March alone on college basketball. I wonder how much of that was on UK futures. I'm sure there was at least a few $100,000 of people who went out there, oh, Kentucky's going to win it all. I'm putting 1,000 on it. How do you think those people that had that Michigan State for the national championship bet felt about 2 hours into the tournament when they lost to Middle Tennessee? Exactly. Ronda Rousey, Serena Williams, they have both signed deals with the Lifetime Network for movies to be made about their lives. Who are they going to get to play their roles? Are they going to play themselves? Now that'll be good. Obviously, the mothers will be played by Meredith Baxter Birney, Alfre Woodard. Those Lifetime movies, nothing but money. And I have some sad news today. I'm very sad to report. The Nature Boy Ric Flair needed medical attention at the Boston airport yesterday. May he get well soon. May he be able to style and profile across rings all across America as soon as possible. How Ric Flair is still alive, it's a modern day miracle. It's obvious. How is this guy alive? All these wrestlers now are dying in their 40s. Macho Man, China. Who else has died lately? They're all dying very young. How Ric Flair is still alive? No idea. Get well soon, Nature Boy. Yeah, let's get to our Mac Daddy Stogies. We gave you not one, but two. 2 out of 2 winners last night. Both of them underdogs. Both of them came through. So, yes, if you were like me last night and played them, congratulations. You were smoking that stogie by the end of the night. Tonight, we're going to take 2 very small dogs. You're getting about 110, plus 110, plus 120 on both of these. So that way, hey, if you only make 1 out of 2 right, at least you made a small profit. Like Oakland today at Detroit. Detroit, Anibal Sanchez, his ERA is about 6.5 right now. You've got Detroit, about 500. Oakland playing money ball as always, about 500. Oakland's on a little bit of a streak. Last game of a road trip, long road trip. They've been out in the East Coast for a week and a half now. Give me Oakland, plus 115 or plus 120 if you could get it, depending on where you shop, over Detroit. And another game I kind of like, I like the Pittsburgh Pirates in Coors Field to take down the Colorado Rockies. Pittsburgh off to a slow start this year. Now I've turned it around, 13-9. Starting pitcher for Pittsburgh, Juan Nicasio, former Rocky. You don't think he wants to stick it to his old team? Andrew McCutchen hit 3 home runs in Coors earlier this week. Pirates have won 4 in a row. Rockies have lost 5 in a row. Look for both those streaks to continue. Give me the Pirates tonight. Give me Oakland and Pittsburgh, your 2 Mac Daddy Stogies of the night. Enjoy those cigars before the night is over. And that's it for the Thursday, April 28th edition of the Bottom Line Lexington podcast. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at BottomLineLex. Make sure to go to our website, bottomlinelexington.com. Look for us on Facebook, Bottom Line Lexington. And subscribe to this YouTube channel. That's it for today, and until the next time, may the winners be yours.